Have you ever realized that the smallest changes can be the most important messages life wants to send us? As the sunset of life slowly descends, the body doesn't suddenly turn off like a lamp, but like a setting sun. It sends final rays, subtle signs warning of the time remaining. Unfortunately, in our busy lives, we often miss these messages. Many people assume that death and old age come suddenly, but the truth is that the body often sends gentle warnings months, sometimes even a year before life reaches its final stage. The problem is that most people miss these signs because they initially seem too small to be concerning. Only later, looking back, do families realize that clues were always there. But by then, it's too late to prepare, too late to create those memorable final memories. In this video, we will talk about 5 key signs that often appear a year before an elderly person passes away. Some of these signs may be things you've noticed but dismissed as just normal aging. Other signs may be small changes that actually show the gradual decline of the body. Recognizing these signs early gives you the opportunity to provide better care, cherish meaningful moments, and most importantly, ensure that your loved one's final stage of life is filled with comfort, dignity, and peace. Let's explore to understand what's happening, prepare mentally and practically for what's ahead. When we understand this process, we won't be caught off guard and can make the most of the remaining time with those we love. Sign 1. Significant unintentional weight loss. One of the earliest and clearest signs that a person may be approaching their final year of life is unintentional weight loss. At first, it may not be obvious. A belt that needs to be tightened, clothes becoming looser, or someone who once ate well beginning to lose their appetite. Many families simply consider this part of the aging process. But unintentional weight loss is a concerning sign. It often means the body is no longer properly absorbing nutrients. Muscle mass is shrinking, and important systems are slowing down. Unlike diet-induced weight loss, this is a decline in both muscle and fat, making the elderly person not just thinner, but weaker. The face may become gaunt, shoulders droop, and clothes hang loosely on the body. Silent but important signs that nature is sending us. Natural aging causes some muscle loss, but when it happens too quickly, it's a sign that something deeper is happening. The body may be struggling to digest food, or it may not be able to process protein as well as before, leading to muscle weakness. This loss of strength doesn't just make movement more difficult, it increases the risk of falls, weakens the immune system, and makes the person more susceptible to infections. Special message to the wisdom of old age community. If you're following along and finding these insights helpful, please hit like and leave a comment "I have learned" below. Each of your interactions is not only motivation for us, but also helps bring this message to more families, potentially helping them better prepare for the challenges ahead. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss valuable information about elderly health. Each week, we share knowledge, advice, and stories from those with the most experience in life, our respected senior generation. Another reason for weight loss in the final year of life is a change in appetite. Many elderly people simply don't feel hungry like they used to. Their sense of taste fades. Food no longer tastes as good as before, and they may start skipping meals or eating much smaller portions. This isn't just a matter of preference, it's a natural change. The body sensing that it's slowing down, no longer sending signals to the brain to seek food as often as before. The result? Less energy, less strength, and a slow decline in overall health. The important thing to understand is, the body isn't betraying us, but preparing for a new journey. Instead of forcing elderly people to eat more, focus on using easily digestible, nutritious food, and especially not taking away their comfort and dignity during meals. Sign 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. One of the biggest changes in the final year of life is a deep, lasting tiredness that doesn't go away with rest. This isn't just feeling a little sleepy after a long day. It's an overwhelming exhaustion that makes even the simplest tasks feel impossible. Activities that were once enjoyable now become burdensome. Music, television programs, and even conversation. Things that once brought joy can now be too stimulating and tiring. The elderly often choose to rest or sit quietly rather than participate in activities they once loved. Getting out of bed becomes difficult. Walking across the room takes effort, and daily activities like cooking, getting dressed, or even just talking start to feel too tiring. This isn't normal aging. It's a sign that the body is saving its remaining energy. As organs begin to slow down, the body begins to prioritize what's most essential. The heart doesn't pump as strongly, circulation weakens, and muscles don't get as much oxygen as before. This is why many elderly people in their final months feel weak, unsteady, and unable to keep up with their usual routines. This fatigue isn't a sign of laziness or lack of will. It's the body's voice telling us that it's transitioning to another phase of life. Instead of urging loved ones to participate in more activities, this is the time to adjust our expectations and respect their new pace. Another key factor is a slowdown in metabolism. The body is built to produce and use energy, but as it prepares for its final stage, that energy is redirected. Instead of fueling movement, the body shifts toward preservation. This is why someone in decline may start sleeping more, needing longer naps during the day, and finding it harder to stay awake for long periods. Some may even experience sudden drops in energy, feeling fine one moment, completely drained the next. But perhaps the hardest part of this process is the emotional toll. Many seniors who once took pride in their independence begin feeling frustrated or even embarrassed that they can't do what they used to. They may pull away from conversations, avoid social events, or stop doing hobbies, not because they don't care, but simply because they don't have the energy. Sign 3. Increased confusion or withdrawal. As a person reaches the final stage of life, one of the most noticeable changes is in how they think, talk, and interact with others. You may notice that someone who was once sharp and engaged now forgets things more often, struggles to follow conversations, or seems lost in familiar places. Like an old house gradually turning off lights room by room, the elderly mind begins to simplify, focusing on what's most important and letting other details fade. They might repeat themselves, forget names, or lose track of time, even if they never had memory problems before. These small mental changes can begin months or even a year before death. This isn't just normal forgetfulness. The brain, like any other organ, needs a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to work properly. But as blood flow slows and oxygen levels drop, brain function begins to weaken. The person may become easily confused, struggle to make decisions, or have trouble recognizing people in places they've known for years. In some cases, they might have brief moments of clarity, followed by sudden episodes of confusion, almost as if their mind is fading in and out. Another common sign is emotional withdrawal. Someone nearing the end of life often loses interest in socializing. You may notice them talking less, engaging less, or spending long periods just sitting in silence. It's not that they don't care about their loved ones, it's that their brain no longer processes emotions and interactions the same way. Conversations become exhausting. Loud environments feel overwhelming, and many seniors eventually retreat into their own world. This withdrawal isn't a sign of indifference, but a manifestation of a deep inner journey. It may be a natural process as the elderly begin to look back on their lives, gradually letting go of attachments to this world and preparing mentally for the transition ahead. Second, special message to the wisdom of old age community. If you're following along and finding these insights valuable, please share this video with your loved ones, especially those caring for the elderly. One share from you could help another family understand the changes they're witnessing and better prepare for the days ahead. The Wisdom of Old Age channel is committed to bringing you not just information, but also emotional support in the journey of accompanying the elderly. Subscribe to become part of this special community, where we learn, share, and honor the wisdom of old age together. Sign 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to shut down, one of the clearest physical signs is a weaker immune system. You may notice that someone who rarely got sick before now catches every cold, flu, or small infection going around. Illnesses that used to be minor now take much longer to recover from, and even small wounds like cuts or bruises heal much slower than before. These changes aren't random. They're signs that the body can no longer protect or repair itself the way it once did. One of the biggest concerns is repeated infections. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTI, skin infections, and even oral infections become more common as the immune system weakens. The immune system no longer has the tools to fight effectively, like an army lacking weapons and soldiers. A body that once fought off infections in days may now take weeks to recover, or the illness may become chronic, never completely disappearing. Many families think these are just isolated illnesses, but when they happen often or take longer to heal, it's usually a sign that the body is losing its ability to fight back. Even antibiotics, which used to work quickly, may seem less effective. The person may need stronger medications, longer recovery times, or multiple rounds of treatment for infections that were once minor. This happens because as blood flow slows and organs weaken, the body simply doesn't respond to treatment as well as before. Another overlooked issue is chronic wounds. If you notice that small scratches, sores, or bruises aren't healing well or keep reopening, it could mean that blood circulation is compromised. Poor circulation means oxygen and nutrients aren't reaching the skin and tissues properly, making healing much slower than normal. But it's important to remember that dedicated care can still work wonders, even as the body weakens. Approaching with love, patience, and understanding can bring comfort and dignity in the final stage of life. Sign number 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. One of the clearest signs that the body is reaching its final stage is a noticeable change in breathing patterns and circulation. You may notice that your loved one breathes more slowly or shallowly than before. Sometimes they might pause between breaths, or their breathing might become irregular, speeding up and then slowing down. Like the sea before a storm, breathing can become complex, sometimes strong, sometimes gentle, sometimes stopping completely for a moment. Surprisingly, some people experience a breathing pattern called Cheyne-Stokes respiration, where deep, quick breaths alternate with long pauses. These changes may start subtly, but over time they become more noticeable and happen more often. Another common sign is weaker circulation. You may notice that their hands, feet, or even their nose and ears feel cold to the touch. Their skin may look pale, bluish, or have a mottled appearance, especially around the fingers and toes. This happens because the body is focusing on sending blood to vital organs and reducing circulation to the arms and legs. It's a clear sign that the heart is not pumping as strongly as before. Some people also experience more shortness of breath, even with small movements. Simply sitting up, talking, or changing positions might make them feel out of breath. You may notice them breathing through their mouth more often, or they may suddenly need to pause and catch their breath while speaking. As life nears its end, nature creates its own beauty and peace. A face that was once tense may suddenly relax. An unexpected smile may appear on the lips. Sometimes, people in the final stage of life have moments of amazing clarity, a moment in which the mind seems clear, strength seems to return, and they can hold and recognize loved ones clearly. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. Significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, memory problems, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These 5 signs often appear in the year before an elderly person passes away. They may not all happen at once, and they may not always be easy to notice at first. But when you start seeing them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for its final stage. For many families, these changes can be hard to accept. It's natural to want to fight against them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through exhaustion. But sometimes the best thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Instead of trying to stop the inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Understanding these signs isn't about being afraid of death, but about being prepared for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can provide better care, make important choices ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. This is a time to cherish moments, share memories, and remind them that they are loved and not alone. Thank you for watching this video. We hope this information will help you better understand the final journey of the elderly and be better prepared both mentally and physically. Remember that every moment is precious, and it's never too late to express love. If you found this video valuable, please share it with others who might need it. Don't forget to leave a comment sharing your experience or ask questions if you need more information. We will return with more valuable lessons from the wisdom of old age in our next video. We wish you and your family good health, peace, and meaningful time together.